Hello, I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm here to share a story about Keon Hee, a mysterious and controversial figure in South Korea's political history. She is the wife of President Yoon Suk Yeol, and her past is said to be nothing short of shocking. Allegations suggest that she once worked as a high-class call girl under the alias Julia in the 1990s, where she built powerful connections at luxurious venues in Gangnam. But the controversies don't stop there. She has also been accused of forging academic degrees, embellishing her resume, and even plagiarizing her doctoral dissertation. The scandals extend to her family as well. Her mother, Choi Eun Sun, was convicted of medical insurance fraud involving a substantial amount of money, but was later acquitted, raising suspicions of political interference. Her brother was accused of stock manipulation, reportedly making millions in illicit profits. As First Lady, Keon Hee continues to draw criticism, such as accepting a Dior handbag worth over $2,000 from Pastor Choi Jae Hoon, violating anti-corruption laws, and allegedly influencing the decision to relocate the presidential office from the Blue House to Yongsan for feng shui-related reasons. While Kim has yet to face any legal penalties, these scandals have eroded public trust and become a ticking time bomb, threatening to undermine President Yoon Suk Yeol's credibility. Is this a story of remarkable resilience or one of power and its darker facets? Let's delve deeper. Keon Hee, born Kim Myung-shin in 1972 in Seoul, is the third of four siblings. After the sudden death of her father, her mother, Choi Eun Sun, opened a guest house and later succeeded in real estate. Keon Hee has an impressive educational background, graduating from Kyung Hee University and earning master's and doctoral degrees from prestigious South Korean institutions. She also achieved significant success in business, founding Kavana Contents, a company specializing in organizing art exhibitions, and amassed substantial wealth, including real estate holdings in Seoul. In 2010, she met Yoon Suk Yeol, then a well-known prosecutor with modest financial means. After a prolonged courtship, they married in 2012, following advice from a feng shui master who claimed the couple would bring each other good fortune. Their marriage marked a pivotal shift in both their careers. Yoon Suk Yeol rose to prominence with his high-profile anti-corruption investigations, culminating in his appointment as Prosecutor General in 2019 and his eventual bid for the presidency in 2021. When Yoon Suk Yeol announced his candidacy for the presidency, the spotlight didn't just shine on him. It also dragged along the secrets of Keon Hee's past. Everything began with a document called the X File that suddenly circulated online, stirring public opinion with shocking revelations. According to the document, in 1997, under the alias Julia, Kim allegedly worked on the 6th floor of the Renaissance Hotel in Gangnam, a venue known for hosting powerful politicians and tycoons. The 6th floor was not only a VIP area, but also notorious for private, clandestine meetings. At this location, Kim is said to have served as a high-class escort, catering to influential figures. The connections she built there, as claimed by the X-File, became the foundation for her own network of influence. Although Yoon initially dismissed these allegations, the mounting evidence became impossible to ignore. By December 2021, testimony from Ahn Hae-wook, former president of the Korea Taekwondo Association, caused an uproar. He stated, "I vividly remember meeting Julia on May 7, 1997, on the 6th floor of the Renaissance Hotel. That's where she worked as a high-class escort." Ahn's confirmation not only lent credibility to the X-File, but also shattered the image of a talented and virtuous woman Kim had carefully crafted. As news of Julia spread, the public began to question whether the meeting between Yoon and Kim was truly the fateful love story they had portrayed, or a calculated arrangement. The X-file implied that Cho Nam-wook, chairman of Sambu Construction, was the matchmaker, recognizing Kim's intelligence and charm as potential assets for Yoon's career. Soon after, on July 29, 2021, a large portrait appeared in a bookstore in Seoul, depicting Julia with a mocking caption, "Julia's men." Julia's dream is to become First Lady. Beneath the painting was a list of powerful individuals alleged to have been involved with Julia, including doctors, corporate executives, and even a prominent prosecutor. While it didn't explicitly name Kim Keon Hee, everyone understood who the portrait referred to. Under mounting pressure, Kim was forced to appear before the media on December 13, 2021. This time, instead of weak denials, she emphatically denied any connection to the alias Julia. Appearing composed and confident, she declared, "These allegations are completely groundless. I am not Julia and have never worked on the 6th floor of the Renaissance Hotel." She further emphasized her busy schedule with studies and work, claiming she had no time for the activities she was accused of. However, her eyes betrayed a subtle yet unmistakable anxiety. Former acquaintances began to offer statements contradicting her claims. Some even asserted that Julia, once known as one of the most covertly influential women at the Renaissance Hotel, was indeed Kim. As public scrutiny deepened, inconsistencies in Kim's narrative became increasingly evident. One particular point of contention was her decision to change her name in 2008. Kim claimed it was to start afresh after her marriage, but many speculated it was an attempt to erase traces of an unsavory past. By 2022, South Korea's prosecution concluded that the allegations in the Julia case were baseless and prosecuted Ahn Hae-wook along with a television station for violating election laws. However, Kim Keon Hee's defense in this case unintentionally sparked a new controversy, this time involving the academic qualifications she had long been proud of. Kim emphasized that her master's and doctorate degrees were evidence of her hard work. Yet instead of garnering support, her statements triggered skepticism about the authenticity of these credentials. By July 2021, widespread reports surfaced, alleging plagiarism in her doctoral dissertation and 3 other academic papers. All 4 works were completed in 2007, a timeline so short that it raised doubts about the rigor of her academic efforts. In September 2022, a coalition of 14 academic associations confirmed that all 4 papers showed significant signs of plagiarism. However, Kookmin University, which awarded Kim her doctorate, refused to investigate the allegations, citing a 5-year statute of limitations. The university's protective stance incited public outrage. On October 1, 2021, more than 200 Kookmin University alumni staged a protest, collectively returning their diplomas to denounce the academic fraud. One former student expressed their frustration. "We cannot accept the university covering up actions that tarnish the value of education." In South Korea, where academic achievements are highly esteemed, this scandal not only damaged Kim's personal reputation, but also negatively impacted Yoon Suk Yeol's presidential campaign. The controversy didn't end there. In November 2021, Kim faced yet another serious scandal, falsifying her resume. Investigations revealed that in 2007, as she prepared to graduate with her doctorate, Kim applied for a university position. Her application contained over 20 discrepancies, including exaggerated academic achievements, fabricated work experience, and awards that didn't exist. One glaring example was her claim that she had studied at New York University's Stern School of Business in 2006, specializing in entertainment and media. In reality, this was merely a 6-month short-term program under Suwon National University. Furthermore, She had only spent 5 days in New York, primarily sightseeing rather than studying. Her work experience at companies like Heartcatcher Technology and the Korean Game Industry Association also contained timeline inconsistencies. For instance, she stated that she worked at Heartcatcher Technology from December 2003 to December 2006, even though the company was only established in November 2004. Another dubious claim was an award at the Chuncheon International Animation Festival in 2004, where her name did not appear among the winners. Amid growing public uproar, Kim decided to hold a press conference. Standing at the podium with a forced yet confident smile, she appeared to project control over the situation. A brave journalist stepped forward and asked bluntly, "Mrs. Kim, can you explain why your resume contains over 20 inaccuracies, ranging from work experience to awards and education timelines?" Mrs. Kim leaned slightly toward the microphone, her tone tinged with sarcasm, yet still attempting to appear calm. "I admit there are inaccuracies in my resume, but let's be honest, this was over 10 years ago. Human memory isn't perfect, is it?" She shrugged lightly, as if dismissing the discrepancies as minor errors anyone could make. Her nonchalant attitude caused murmurs to ripple through the room, but she pressed on. "Even so, I did work at those companies. Maybe I got the dates or details wrong, but I didn't lie about the nature of my work." Another reporter immediately interrupted. "But Mrs. Kim, some of the awards you listed, such as the Chuncheon International Animation Festival Award in 2004, don't appear in the official records. How do you explain that?" This time, Mrs. Kim's composure cracked slightly. Her eyes glinted with defiance as she stared directly at the crowd. Leaning forward, her voice took on a sharper edge. "Haven't you ever exaggerated your resume? Doesn't everyone want to make a better impression on potential employers? Isn't that perfectly normal?" She spoke as if fabricating a resume was an ordinary and acceptable act. The atmosphere in the room grew tense as many reporters exchanged uneasy glances, but Mrs. Kim was not finished. "And let me remind you," she continued, her voice rising, "when I submitted that resume, I hadn't even met my husband Yoon Suk Yeol. I wasn't a public figure or a government official. Why should I be subjected to this absurd scrutiny?" Her tone grew louder, as if to assert that the investigation was fundamentally unjust. Instead of offering clear answers, Mrs. Kim shifted blame onto the media, accusing them of igniting undue pressure on her. From the audience, whispers began to spread. One reporter murmured to a colleague, "She's trying to deflect attention. But honestly, her lies and brazen attitude are only making things worse." Indeed, Mrs. Kim's defiance and apparent lack of accountability further fueled public outrage, severely damaging the image of her husband, Yoon Suk Yeol. Under mounting public pressure on December 26, 2021, Mrs. Kim Keon Hee held another press conference to issue a public apology. She admitted that embellishing her resume had been wrong and expressed regret for the negative impact it had on her husband. She even shared personal struggles, such as her inability to bear children, in an effort to elicit sympathy from the public. However, her attempts to pacify public opinion seemed to have little effect. Shortly after, First Lady Kim Keon Hee faced rumours of cosmetic surgery as before and after photos of her appearance circulated widely on social media. Some rumours suggested that she spent $800,000 on cosmetic procedures. However, she insisted that she only underwent double eyelid surgery, denying claims of excessive alterations to her appearance. The scandals surrounding Kim Keon Hee didn't stop with her. Her family also became embroiled in a series of severe legal controversies. The first case involved her mother, Choi Eun Sun. Just 3 days after Yoon Suk Yeol announced his presidential candidacy, Choi was arrested for medical insurance fraud. Between 2013 and 2015, she was accused of operating an illegal nursing home and defrauding the national health insurance system of $1.7 million. While her co-conspirators were convicted in 2015, Choi evaded charges thanks to a letter of indemnity. However, in 2020, the National Health Insurance Service sued her to recover the defrauded money. On January 25, 2022, in a surprising turn of events, an appellate court declared her not guilty due to insufficient evidence. This decision caused public outrage, with many questioning whether Yoon Suk Yeol had intervened. Next came accusations against Kim's brother, Kim Jin-hoo. In May 2023, SMD, a company led by Kim Jin-hoo, was accused of forging documents and inflating construction costs to embezzle approximately $1.3 million. Adding to the turmoil, all three members of Kim Keon Hee's family, Kim herself, her mother Choi Eun Sun, and her brother Kim Jin-hoo, were accused of manipulating stock prices for Deutsche Motors, a BMW distributor in South Korea between 2009 and 2012. Investigations revealed that this scheme resulted in illicit gains of $750,000. These scandals laid bare the darker aspects of Kim Keon Hee's family and dealt a heavy blow to Yoon Suk Yeol's presidential campaign. A political analyst remarked, "Integrity was once Yoon Suk Yeol's greatest strength, but with a family mired in scandal, can the public still trust him to lead?" The 2022 South Korean presidential election wasn't seen as a contest between the best candidate, but as a race between the lesser of two evils. Both frontrunners, Yoon Suk Yeol and Lee Jae-myung, faced higher disapproval than approval ratings. Another analyst observed, "Integrity was once Yoon Suk Yeol's greatest strength, but with a family mired in scandal, can the public still trust him to lead?" In the end, many voters perceived Yoon as the lesser evil compared to his opponent, leading to his victory. However, even after securing the presidency, scandals involving Yoon and his wife's family continued to overshadow his term. On November 27, 2023, a video released by Seon Voice shocked the public. The footage showed First Lady Kim Keon Hee receiving a Dior handbag worth over $2,000 from Korean-American pastor Choi Jae Hoon. In the video, Kim can be seen smiling and saying, "Oh, why do you keep bringing these things? Please don't do this next time." Despite her polite refusal, she accepted the gift, violating South Korea's anti-corruption laws, which prohibit public officials and their spouses from receiving gifts exceeding $750 in value during events related to official duties. These revelations further tarnished Kim's public image, casting a shadow over Yoon Suk Yeol's presidency and fueling ongoing debates about integrity and accountability in South Korea's political landscape. Yoon Suk Yeol's camp quickly dismissed the controversy, claiming it was a politically motivated attempt to tarnish the reputation of the presidential couple ahead of the 2024 parliamentary elections. Yoon asserted that Pastor Choi had deliberately exploited his shared hometown connection with Yoon's father to approach Kim Keon Hee. Yoon also criticized the timing of the video's release, over a year after the incident occurred, implying it was a calculated move. Despite these denials, the civil organization Transparency Korea filed a formal complaint in December 2023 against Kim, Yoon, and Pastor Choi with the National Integrity Commission. Following an extensive investigation, the commission concluded in June 2024 that Kim had not violated any laws, effectively closing the case. However, public dissatisfaction persisted, with lingering doubts about the couple's credibility. In addition to the controversies surrounding his wife, Yoon Suk Yeol faced fierce criticism for alleged reliance on superstition during his campaign. The issue came to light when observers noticed the Chinese character Wang, meaning king, written on his palm. When questioned, Yoon explained that it had been written by an elderly neighbor to encourage him before a debate. However, this explanation failed to quell speculation, with many suspecting he was influenced by feng shui masters in critical decisions. One of Yoon's most controversial decisions was relocating the presidential office from the Blue House, a historic political symbol of South Korea, to the Ministry of National Defense building in Yongsan. The official justification for the move was to improve operational efficiency, but many believed it was based on feng shui advice claiming the Blue House's location was unfavorable. This decision sparked widespread public outrage due to the enormous relocation costs and concerns over potential security risks. Critics lambasted Yoon for prioritizing superstition over practicality, further deepening public skepticism about his leadership. As Yoon continued to grapple with these controversies, they underscored the challenges of navigating public trust while facing allegations of impropriety and outdated beliefs in a modern political context. The story of President Yoon Suk Yeol and First Lady Keon Hee is more than just a series of personal or familial scandals. It is a mirror reflecting a profound reality within South Korean politics, a realm where power often intertwines with complex relationships, controversies, and at times a loss of public trust. South Korea, with its relatively young democracy, has witnessed repeated instances of its leaders becoming entangled in scandals ranging from corruption and abuse of power to the influence of shadowy figures. The case of Keon Hee and her alleged links to hidden power structures, reminiscent of Choi Eun Sun during Park Geun-hye's presidency, serves as a painful reminder of unlearned historical lessons. It raises broader questions about the control of power, transparency, and accountability in the politics of a developed nation. Yoon Suk Yeol's victory in the 2022 presidential election reflects a situation where voters were left to choose the lesser evil rather than an exemplary candidate. This highlights a deeper crisis of trust in South Korean political leadership, where citizens often find themselves voting for candidates overshadowed by controversies. Although Yoon triumphed in the election, his presidency has remained under intense public and media scrutiny. The scandals involving his wife's family, ranging from stock manipulation and falsified resumes to alleged connections with fortune tellers, not only undermine his personal credibility, but also threaten the public's faith in the political system itself. Against this backdrop, South Korea faces pressing questions. How can transparency and integrity be ensured in its political system? How can the influence of shadowy figures like Choi Eun Sun be prevented from wreaking havoc? And more critically, is the country's democracy strong enough to defuse these ticking time bombs and restore public trust? The story of President Yoon Suk Yeol serves as a sobering reminder that politics is not merely a power game for leaders, but a collective responsibility of society to uphold integrity, transparency, and accountability, the fundamental pillars of a truly functioning democracy.